Hey everyone! Welcome back to Ema English Daily, your cozy place to build your English confidence step by step. I'm Ema, and today we're talking about something we all think about from time to time, our future plans.
And I'm Jack. Funny enough, Emma, I was thinking about my future this morning too. I started wondering where I'll be next year, what goals I want to achieve, and what exciting things I want to do in the future.
That's perfect because today's lesson is all about how to talk about future plans in English. It's a skill you'll use everywhere, whether you're chatting with friends, meeting new people, or answering questions in a job interview.
I'm really glad we're covering this because whenever someone asks me, "What are your future plans?" I know what I want to say, but sometimes I struggle to express it clearly in English.
You're definitely not alone. The good news is that English gives us a few simple ways to talk about the future. And once you learn them, answering that question becomes much easier and more natural.
So, let me try. Right now, I want to travel more, improve my English, and maybe start a small business someday. Are those good examples of future plans?
Absolutely. And the way you said them sounds great. But there are actually several common ways to talk about the future, and each one has a slightly different meaning depending on the situation.
Really? I thought I could just use I want to for everything.
You can use it often, but if you want to sound more natural and confident, it's helpful to learn three important future forms: will, be going to, and be planning to. These are the expressions native speakers use every day.
Okay, that sounds useful, but what's the difference between them?
Let's start with will. We often use will when we make a decision at the moment of speaking, or when we're making a prediction about the future. For example, if someone offers you coffee and you decide right away, you can say, "I'll have a coffee."
So, will is for quick decisions or things we think might happen in the future, right?
Exactly. For example, you could say, "I think it will rain tomorrow," or "I think I will pass my English test." You're talking about something you believe will happen, but you're not completely certain.
I like that. It sounds positive and confident, and it's really easy to use.
That's why it's one of the most important future expressions in English. Once you get comfortable with it, talking about your future becomes much easier.
That makes sense. So, be going to is for something you've already decided before the conversation starts. For example, if I already have a plan, I can say, "I'm going to improve my English this year."
Exactly. The decision was already made in your mind, so going to feels natural. If someone asks what you're doing this weekend, you might say, "I'm going to visit my parents," because you've already planned it.
Okay, I think I'm starting to understand. Will is for decisions or predictions, but goingt is for plans I've already made.
That's right. And there's one more expression that native speakers use all the time. "I'm planning to." It sounds thoughtful and organized, like you've seriously considered your future.
I like that one. It sounds more professional. For example, I'm planning to start a small business next year.
Perfect. That's exactly how people use it. It's especially useful in jobs interviews or when talking about long-term goals because it shows that you've thought carefully about your plans.
So let me check if I understand. We use will for quick decisions and predictions, going to for plans we've already decided on, and planning to for goals we're seriously working toward.
That's an excellent summary, Jack. You're sounding more natural already.
Thanks, Ema. But I have a question. Do people really notice the difference between these expressions?
Sometimes they do. For example, if someone asks, "What are your plans for tonight?" and you answer, "I will cook dinner," it sounds like you just made the decision at that moment.
But if I say, I'm going to cook dinner tonight, it sounds like I already knew that was the plan.
Exactly. It's a small difference, but it changes the feeling of the sentence. Native speakers often choose the expression that best matches what they're thinking.
Wow, I've probably used will for almost everything.
And that's completely normal. Most English learners do that at first. People still understand you, but learning these small differences helps your English sound much more natural.
I love learning through stories. Do you have a real example?
Actually, yes. A few years ago, I had a job interview, and the interviewer asked me the famous question, "Where do you see yourself in 5 years?"
Oh no, that question always makes me nervous.
Me too. I was so nervous that I answered, "I will become a manager. I will lead a team. I will make the company successful."
That sounds very confident.
Maybe a little too confident. It sounded like I was making promises instead of talking about my goals. Later, a mentor told me that there was a better way to express those ideas.
What should you have said instead?
I could have said, "I'm planning to develop my leadership skills, and I'm hoping to take on more responsibilities in the future." That sounds more realistic and more human.
I see the difference. Instead of saying, I will become a better speaker, I could say, I'm planning to become a better speaker.
Exactly. It shows that you have a goal and a plan without sounding like you're predicting the future with absolute certainty.
That's such a useful tip. I think this will help me sound much more natural when I talk about my future plans.
And that's the goal. The more you understand the feeling behind these expressions, the more confident and natural your English will become.
I can really hear the difference now. Saying, I'm planning to become a better speaker sounds much more realistic because it shows I've thought about it and I'm working toward it.
Exactly. Both sentences are correct, but "I'm planning to" feels warmer and more believable because it sounds like a real goal instead of a promise about the future.
This is such useful advice. I'm definitely going to remember this for my next job interview.
See? You naturally used "I'm going to" because you've already decided to do it. You're not even thinking about the grammar anymore.
You're right. I didn't plan that. It's starting to feel automatic.
And that's exactly what we want. When English becomes automatic, conversations become much easier and more enjoyable.
So, what if my future plan isn't really a plan yet? What if it's more like a dream?
Great question. When we're talking about hopes, dreams, and wishes, we often use expressions like "I hope to," "I'd love to," or "I dream of." These phrases sound more emotional and personal.
So, if I say, I hope to travel the world, that's different from saying, I'm going to travel the world.
Very different. "I hope to travel the world" means it's a dream you would like to achieve someday. But "I'm going to travel the world" suggests that you've already made plans and maybe even started preparing for it.
Well, I definitely don't have a plane ticket yet, so I should probably say, I hope to travel the world.
Exactly. And people often enjoy hearing about hopes and dreams because they help create a personal connection during a conversation.
That's true. When someone shares a dream, it feels like you're getting to know the real person behind the words.
I completely agree. Now, let's imagine a situation. You're at a party and someone asks, "What are you up to these days?" What are your plans for the future?
Okay, that already makes me a little nervous.
Don't worry. Before today's lesson, you might have said something simple like, I want to do many things.
Honestly, that's probably exactly what I would have said.
But now you have better options. You could say, I'm planning to improve my English. I'm going to take an online course next month. And I hope to work abroad someday.
Wow, that sounds confident, clear, and interesting.
Because it is. You're sharing real plans and real dreams, and people love hearing that.
I think I like this new version of myself.
And here's something interesting. When you speak this way, people often take you more seriously. They ask questions, they become curious, and the conversation keeps going naturally.
Really? Just by choosing slightly different words?
Absolutely. The way we express our ideas can completely change how other people respond to us.
That's amazing. I'm definitely going to practice this tonight.
Good. And here's one final tip before we move on. Whenever you talk about a future plan, try adding a reason using because. It makes your answer more complete and much more interesting.
So instead of saying, I'm planning to learn Spanish, I could say, I'm planning to learn Spanish because I want to travel in Latin America.
Exactly. Now people understand both your plan and your motivation.
Then I could also say, I'm going to exercise more because I want to feel healthier and have more energy.
Perfect. That's a natural sentence that native speakers use all the time.
Thanks, Ema. You always make English feel easier and less scary.
That's what Ema English Daily is all about. Now, before we finish this section, let's review 5 useful phrases that can help you talk about your future plans more naturally and confidently.
I love this part too because it's where everything starts to come together. Sometimes I understand a lesson, but reviewing the key phrases helps me remember them much better.
Exactly. So let's start with our first phrase, I'm going to. We use I'm going to when we have already made a decision or a plan before speaking. The idea is already in our mind.
So if I say, I'm going to study English tonight, that means I already decided to do it earlier today, right?
That's right. It sounds natural because it's a real plan. Native speakers use this expression all the time when talking about things they have already decided to do.
I like that one. It's easy to remember and very useful.
Okay, let's move to phrase number 2. I'm planning to.
This phrase sounds a little more thoughtful and organized. It shows that you've spent some time thinking about your goal.
Perfect example. That sounds responsible and well organized. It's also a great phrase to use during interviews because it shows you're thinking about your future.
I can definitely imagine using that in a professional conversation.
Great. Now, phrase number 3. I hope to. This is for dreams, wishes, and things you really want to happen, but you're not completely sure they will happen.
Like, I hope to visit Japan someday. That's something I really want to do, but I don't know exactly when.
Exactly. It's a dream, not a fixed plan. That's why I hope to is the perfect phrase.
I really like that expression because it feels positive and personal.
It does. Now let's look at phrase number 4. I'll probably. We use this when we're not completely sure about something in the future. Maybe it's likely, but not certain.
So if someone asks me what I'm doing this weekend, I could say, I'll probably stay home and watch my movies.
Yes, that's a very natural answer. You're saying it's likely, but you're leaving room for changes.
I use that situation all the time.
Most people do. Now let's look at our final phrase. I'd love to. This one is special because it adds emotion. It shows excitement, enthusiasm, or a strong desire.
For example, I'd love to work in another country one day.
That's perfect. When people hear "I'd love to," they can feel your excitement and interest.
I can hear the difference. It sounds much warmer than simply saying, I want to.
Exactly. That's why native speakers use it so often.
Okay, let me see if I can remember all 5 phrases. We have I'm going to, I'm planning to, I hope to, I'll probably, and I'd love to.
Excellent. Those 5 phrases alone can make your English sound much more natural when talking about the future.
And the best part is that we can combine them in one answer.
Absolutely. That's what native speakers often do.
Let me try. I'm planning to improve my English this year. I hope to work abroad someday, and I'd love to travel around the world.
Wow, Jack, that was fantastic. You used 3 different future expressions naturally in one answer.
Honestly, I surprised myself.
That's what happens when a lesson finally clicks. Suddenly, everything feels easier.
I think the biggest thing I've learned today is that there isn't just one way to talk about the future. English gives us different tools depending on what we want to express.
Exactly. Sometimes we are talking about a plan. Sometimes we're talking about a dreams. Sometimes we're making a prediction. Choosing the right expression helps people understand us better.
And it also makes us sound more natural.
That's right. And for everyone listening, don't be afraid to talk about your future in English. Talk about your goals. Talk about your dreams. Talk about the things you're excited about.
Because those conversations are often the most interesting ones.
They really are. Now, before we finish today's episode, we have a question for all of you.
Yes, we'd love for you to answer it in the comments.
Here's the question. What is one future plan, goal, or dream that you have right now? Try to answer using one of today's phrases. Maybe you can say, I'm going to, I'm planning to, I hope to, I'll probably, or I'd love to.
I'll give my answer first. I'm planning to practice English speaking for at least 10 minutes every day starting this week because I want to become a more confident speaker.
That's a wonderful goal. And I hope to read your answers in the comments. We love seeing your ideas, goals, and dreams.
And remember, writing your answer in English is also great practice.
Exactly. Every sentence you write helps you improve. Well, that's all for today's episode. Thank you so much for spending your time with us here at Ema English Daily.
We're really happy you joined us today. Every lesson you listen to and every minute you practice brings you one step closer to your English goals.
Keep learning, keep speaking, and most importantly, keep believing in yourself.
We'll be back tomorrow with another simple and useful English lesson.
Take care, everyone, and have a wonderful day.
See you next time.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.